Welcome to Volume 4 of RC Video Magazine. In this issue, we will be taking you to the Save the Lady float plane fly-in Clear Lake, California, and the 1985 Nats Pattern Competition. Jeff Troy has another building tip for us. We then continue our tour of the AMA Museum. And then we go to London, Ontario, Canada for the first World Helicopter Championships. We have coverage of Byron's Jet Rally and Byron's new World War II reenactment.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lee Taylor, director of the Save the Lady fly-in, the radio control model seaplane fly-in that we've set up here for a benefit for the Statue of Liberty Restoration Fund. The modelers here that you'll be seeing shortly have come from all over the entire western United States to fly radio control model float planes. And with attraction of the public, we've got some full-scale seaplanes flying and a Coast Guard Air Sea Rescue demonstration going on later to raise money for the Statue of Liberty. I'd like to introduce Mo Curry, a man from Lakeport here, who really ran interference for us with all of the official people to put this flying on. It couldn't have happened without him. You're going to be seeing a lot of seaplanes flying. I hope you enjoy it and have a good time.
Quiet balance has brought that airplane all the way down from Junction City, Oregon, out here now. It's a quarter scale J3 Cub. The plane has a quadra engine in it. It's a 9-foot airplane. Sorry, I don't know the sound. What? Little Cubs on the coast is some of the best seaplanes around. They go just about like the real one does too. That's one float at a time and just kind of eases it off. Good takeoff. Way to go, Michael! Standing down here on that silly dock while they try to get it. It looks like Mike's gonna try a wing. Oh, come on, man. Fireball, Hughes, Bruce Hughes. That's Hughes listed as original flew that way. Nice raise, good handling little float. Yeah, you got it off. Got it off. Keep trying. Motor's still running. Go, go, go. Keep going. A little more. A little more. Come on, kill the engine. That. Slow there. Watch it. Right there. Looks like we're setting up for landing out here now. Let's see if we can make a nice smooth touchdown. All right, that's the way it's supposed to be done. Yeah, 3 inches. ground down, your little crosswind there. Good. Well, it's a good wave hopper. There we go. We do ask that spectators, if you would stay off of the pier here, we do have quite a bit of pilots coming in.
Sailplane on float.
Sorry, you had the biggest snake out of the cockpit board to put in. That's the other thing that we do in the movies. You have a chance today to take a ride in that bird. Probably the only chance you give in your lifetime to take a ride. Thanks to a great extent, Bo Curry and the other guys from the Lakeport Renegades. They first me and actually, when you're flying, you shouldn't be in too much inside. Pilot dumped it deliberately so that he wouldn't come any closer to you. That's
Okay.
Cessna's a little bit less power. You get a lot more of a water ride with this than you do the Waco. Yeah, you get one float off. There we go. We got airborne. Now, all you model pilots over there, see, now that's the way it's supposed to be done, not the way you've been doing it so far.
I'm Rich Irwin from El Sobrante, California, and we came up to the fly-in with the Sopwith pup, which is quarter scale. Originally started out with an Oarline kit, but was modified quite a bit to be a little more scale. It's powered by a NU90 four-stroke engine, and we modified some Proctor floats for it to fly it off of water, and been having an absolute ball with it. It flies great off of water, and almost better than it does off of land. It's kind
covered with, let's see, we've got permagloss coverite on the top, Solartex on the bottom, monocoat on the tail, and I'm sure I left something out, but it's covered with a little bit of everything.
Well, the park supervisors or the park employees, could we ask you to come up to the podium, please? Thank you.
I actually scratched up plans from pilot.
Another one. Good one.
Taxi back. Really slow, Wally. There we go. Now he's got it set up. See there, guys, that's the way it's supposed to be done. Wally Rinker, Clear Lake and the Tootsie Roll Bomber.
I don't know how much safety flight is covered.
I'm Bob Jones from Lancaster, California, and we're looking at a third scale Super Cub built for me by Charles Richard of Lancaster, California. It took him a year to build this airplane, and it took him 3 months to build the floats after that. It's not built from a kit. It's got a fiberglass cowl that he made from scratch, fiberglass floats that he made from scratch, fiberglass leading edge of the wings, fiberglass trailing edge of the wings. The wing ribs are 52 pieces in each wing rib, and the wing is 12 feet.
My name's Wally Rinker, and I live here in Lakeport, and I'm a member of the Clear Lake Renegades. Sounds like a big club, but it actually isn't. There's only 3 of us that belong to it. And we build big airplanes and some exotic airplanes. And my friend Dick Hershey used to work for Douglas Aircraft, and he was a designer and troubleshooter and just about anything they needed. And so he's our engineering department. So when we run into trouble, why we call what we call engineering. And so all these aircraft that you see here, especially this one, he drew the plans from a little bitty sketch in a book and scaled everything, and he scales them up or down. He just wants to know what size we want them, and he makes the plans from those. This particular airplane, we built a big model of it and had a 12-horse Husqvarna chainsaw engine in it, and it flew very successful, and I finally sold it to Lee Taylor. And then my friend Mo Curry decided that I needed another one. So he built this one last year and presented it to me, engine, radio, the whole ball of wax. And isn't that the kind of a friend to have? He's a good guy. It's a 1927 British Supermarine. It's the forerunner of the Spitfire. The same guy designed this that designed the Spitfire. His name was Mitchell. And at the time this plane was built, when most of the fighter planes in the country were running 175, 180 mile an hour, this thing was running over 300 mile an hour. And 2 years later, the same plane, except they designated it an S6, did 409 mile an hour officially and 500 mile an hour unofficially. And you got to remember that was an open cockpit plane with everything hanging out in the wind, floats and all that stuff. So that was a pretty fantastic thing for a plane at that time to do. And
Hey, we might just in time. We get to see the Supermarine go. Coming up.
You on your way?
yeah. Right in here close, about 10 feet high, that seems to be right next to water. Fortunately, that seems too bad. They're out there. They must be swirling off those trees or something. Say hi to the folks, Kenny. Run a straight.
Hi, folks. Too bad you didn't make it.
In 1984, this young man, just 12 years old at the time, won FAI turnaround at the Nats in Reno, causing quite a stir in the world of pattern competition. This year, he is flying a Delatel with a Rossi engine, the same aircraft he won with in 1984.
Okay, we're speaking with Chip Hyde. He won last year the 1984 Reno Nats in FAI. He's here again, and he went into his 6th round in 2nd place. Chip, tell us a little bit about how old are you this year?
Well, I'm 13 years old this year.
Okay. And how did that last flight go for you?
It went pretty good. I think it might do it. Might get me into 1st place, but I don't know for sure.
How's your score?
It should be somewhere around a 1430 or 40, maybe even a 1450 if I'm lucky.
Great. How long have you been flying RC aircraft?
Well, in October it'll be my 10th year of flying radio control airplanes.
10 years. That mean you started when you were 3 or 4?
I started when I was 4 years old, and I flew my first pattern contest when I was 5.
That's incredible. Tell me a little bit about how you got started. Did your dad teach you?
Yeah, well, ever since I was about 2 years old, I've been interested in airplanes, and as soon as I turned 4, my dad got me an airplane for my birthday, and we went out and started flying it right after that.
Chip, could you describe to us one of the maneuvers, the one you find pretty difficult? Tell us a little bit about how hard it is to do and what you do to make it come out so good.
Well, I think the avalanche is the most difficult maneuver.
Can you just describe what an avalanche is?
Well, the avalanche is a loop. You do half a loop, then a snap roll at the top, and then you're supposed to continue out the other half of the loop and make it totally round, not kind of cocked off like this. You're supposed to make a real round loop out of it with a snap roll at the top.
Why is that so difficult?
Because after you do the snap roll, the plane wants to drop and go down and cut off the back half of the loop. And you got to make sure you get all the down elevator in you can to keep it level, so you can round out the bottom of the loop.
Let's talk for a little bit about the comparison of the two types of pattern that is flown presently in the United States and other places in the world. We have here in the United States the AMA pattern, and we also fly the FAI turnaround pattern at many of the larger meets, such as our nationals and so forth. We can do kind of a comparison of these two types of pattern by first starting with the description of the frame or the box in which these patterns are flown. With the AMA pattern, there's a back and forth movement of the airplane, with the center portion of this back and forth movement being the place that the maneuvers take place. That's in contrast to the FAI or turnaround pattern having not only the center section but the two ends being judged also with what we call a turnaround maneuver.
Slot 4, Ron Van Putty. Slot.
Okay, we're speaking with Ivan Christensen, currently holding first place in this year's pattern competition. Ivan, can you tell me how long have you been flying pattern competitively?
Well, it'll go back to the early 70s when I really started getting serious about flying competitively. I'd flown a contest or two prior to that in '69, but really getting into it seriously was around 70 or 71, so that makes it about 15 years.
Okay, and you're Canadian, is that true?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I immigrated to Canada in 1967, so I came from Denmark originally, and been a citizen ever since.
Okay, going into the 5th round today, you had 4,200 points and holding first place by a pretty good lead. How did you feel the 5th round went for you?
Well, the 5th round went real well. It wasn't without some measure of anticipation. Going into the 5th round, reading the winds are very, very strong out there today. And so a little bit of pre-flight preparation to combat that wind situation was certainly needed in order to come up with a score that would be a keeper. Now, it turns out that I indeed was able to do that with the score I got. Unofficially, it's 14.23, which I'll drop about a 13.39, so I'll gain almost 100 points with my 5th round, which I'll be in, have to pull ahead a little bit further.
Okay, let's talk about your aircraft a little bit. I don't believe I'm familiar with this, and I'm not sure I've ever seen one before. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, I'd be very delighted to tell you about it, in that this is a maiden competition for this aircraft, and it's my own design. I've only had it flying for about a week and a half. I'm very ecstatic about the result. Of course, it's like a dream come true, you know, being able to win a national championship, which I feel that it's just about all but in the bag at this moment. And having flown the aircraft for only a week and a half and about 50 flights, it's just falls short of being miraculous in the sense of being able to set it up and being ready with it. And so it is a new design. It's my own, and I call it a Summit.
What is the aircraft powered with?
Okay, the aircraft is powered with the YS engine, which is one I've used now for about last year. When I put it into my Atlanta, which is one I flew a year ago, and it turns out it's an excellent engine. Now, the only reason I went to the YS engine at that time was it fitted perfectly into the Atlanta with a tank situation it was located and so forth. It almost required the YS. And since then, I've fallen in love with the engine and just transferred it over to my own aircraft, and it's a superb engine.
I also noticed that you're not using a variable speed prop. I know that some of the people flying the YS engines do use that. Can you tell us a little bit about your prop situation?
Sure. The prop I got on there is a multi-laminate Japanese birch, or either Japanese birch or maple. It's made in Japan. It's a 12.9 propeller, and it revs somewhat lower than a lot of other props would, being in around the 10.5 mark, 10,500, 10,600. In fact, I was just had a noise check, the limit being 105 dB, and this one there was 101.5. Now, I feel that the weight penalty is just not worth going to the variable pits. It's very expensive. The weight penalty is around 4 to 5 ounces. You have to add to, and the cost of a servo in addition to the cost of the variable pitch propeller. So the performance and the reliability of this setup is, in a long haul, will probably outperform the variable pitch, in my opinion. There are other people that use them with success, and I certainly don't want to take anything away. It's a very good product, but for my money, I'll stick with the fixed propeller for a while. This, I'll just tip it up here a little bit, and I don't know if we can look at it in the camera, they can see it, but this wing is a two-piece wing. It's split in this area, right in here, and then is assembled on an aluminum tube, which goes right through this area, approximately from here to here. So there are two halves in a plug-in situation. Now, there are no linkages going into through to the fuselage in that both the ailerons and the retractable landing gear are operated by individual servos in here for the aileron and a servo here for the retractable landing gear. The flaps are operational. They are coupled with elevator, and I do use them quite a bit during the flight. And they couple with elevator goes up, flap goes down, and so on, vice versa. Now, they plug into a square tube in the fuselage as the wing is assembled with the fuselage, so they made up automatically. And if a servo to drive that operation is mounted inside the fuselage. Now, some of the design features that I wanted to incorporate was that idea with the plug-in wing. I wanted to have a clear canopy to resemble a full-size aircraft a little bit more than padded ships are known to be. I wanted to have larger surfaces. These ones, like the ailerons and the flaps and the elevators, are larger than on a conventional pattern ship, although the whole planform of the airplane is very similar to the regular pattern airplane, being that I would fly somewhat slower, and in order to get the control response that one needs and wants, the surfaces have to be larger at a slower speed. That's the thinking behind that.
Ivan, what does it take to perform the six-sided loop? It looks beautiful when we see you do it, and what does it take to make one perfect?
Well, there would be a combination of things that you'd have to do, Ken, that's for sure. The entry into any maneuver, first of all, is a good entry is the beginning of a good maneuver. That's obvious. Nice, straight, level flight. And there's a common mistake in you picked a six-sided loop, and it's perhaps a good one because it's often one that people do poorly for a number of reasons. And what you have to remember is 60-degree corners, not 45 or 90. Now, oftentimes when you go up, perhaps if we can describe it by flying through an imaginary airplane here, is that, okay, we go up, we establish this first 60 degrees. Well, that's not very difficult. Where the difficult part comes is when you get to the next 60 degrees. What is the common thing is to actually pull 90. What happens then is that once you get up to the top up here, there's not enough corner left to illustrate a corner. And the absence of 6 corners is obviously a reason for downgrade. So what you must be very careful with is start perfectly level, go to 60 degrees, and then not over pull. Another common thing is to make these legs much too long. This one here, if you burn off a lot of airspeed as you go up on the first 60 degrees, then by the time you get up here, even if that angle is correct, you don't have the airspeed left when you get that top corner to establish a corner. And I like to describe those corners that you must do them with authority. I don't mean that they have to be snappy and razor sharp, nor should they be lazy like so, because then there's no flat spots in between. You can't distinguish. What you have to have is a level, 60 degrees with authority, 60 degrees with authority, and so on around, and make it a little smaller than you might anticipate having to do. Particularly if you've got lots of power, so if we tend to make them too big, it's a mistake. Shrink it down a little bit. Make sure those corners are defined, and that is a secret. And the other thing, which is one of the things that I maintain, is going to be one I lost in this turnaround thing, is the ability to use throttle and rudder. The use of rudder has really, the need for use of rudder has really come into its own with the introduction of the turnaround maneuvers. Okay, so make the corners with authority. Don't make the maneuver too big, and the six-sided loop becomes a much easier maneuver to do.
We're speaking with Bob Hunt, editor of Flying Models magazine. He's going to tell us a little bit about Project Pattern, is that right?
Right. We decided about 2 years ago that even though there are a number of fiberglass and foam airplanes out there and a lot of kits with instructions, that not all of the questions concerning this type of aircraft have been answered to the full extent. We decided to build this airplane and report on it every month in Flying Models magazine under the heading Project Pattern. And my co-writer and author is Dean Pappas, also my pattern columnist. This is an Aero Composites EU-1A. It's a fiberglass fuselage, typically in foam wing, foam tail. Has a YS-60 engine, a Fataba PCM radio, and B&D retracts. We have approximately 17 segments of the Project Pattern series that have been published to date, and we're going to finish it up with a finishing series and then also a trimming and flying series.
As it usually works out, there's a wealth of details in building a pattern airplane. A winning pattern airplane begins in the workshop, and most of what we had to contribute was in the way of techniques for building straight airplanes, techniques for measuring your airplane as you build it to make sure that you're keeping it straight, and then techniques for installing radios and setting up control surfaces so that you get maximum use from the airplane.
In FAI, Ivan Christensen finished in first place and Chip Hyde placed second. Dave Brown finished in third place. In AMA Masters Division, Rich Irvine took first place with Pete Callis coming in second. In Expert, Mike Cecil finished in first place with Rick Constable placing second. In Advance, Norman Staub has first place with Stuart Kale in second place. In the Sportsman Division, David Snow finished in first place and Louis Schwab in second.
McDaniel RC presents the revolutionary Night Starter, pocket-sized power for starting your standard glow engines. The Night Starter is safe and convenient. The unique headlock keeps the Night Starter on the plug, not in the propeller. And you can get 50 starts from one 16-hour charge. Now McDaniel offers an improved model of the Night Starter. The addition of a soldered reinforcing ring at the tip helps prevent stripping out the headlock, providing you with a longer-lasting tool. Remember, the Night Starter is not a wrench, and if used as one, will strip out the headlock. For more information on the Night Starter and other McDaniel RC products, see your local RC dealer.
I'll save you now.
Caught me, didn't you? How you doing? You know, of all the things that fly, my favorite are really the World War I stick and fabric airplanes, and I just love these kind of things. It's often been a problem how to do a cloth-type finish on one of these models, and this issue we're going to show you just how to do it. Take a look at that. What you're looking at through the magic of home video is the typical World War I side panel on a model aircraft fuselage. This is done with a clear white linen, just as the original, that's been aged. And it's a real simple process, and we're going to show you how to do it. As you go further down the fuselage, the stringer work and the supports for the stringers, you see different wood tones and different shades. This is also very easy to duplicate. Back towards the tail of the airplane, stabilizer, elevator, rudder, with a lot of artwork for squadron identification on the back. All super, super simple, nothing high-tech, and here we go. Let me get this 1914 Blériot out of the way, and we'll get set up and show you what to do. First the airplane, then the jacket. Some demonstration parts. Paper towels. And the magic stuff. Nothing high-tech about this. This is simple interior wood stain you can buy in any paint store. Really easy. Screwdriver to open up the stain. and the real magic. This is a roll of super shrink Coverite. And in talking to the Coverite people, I understand that what this is aircraft grade lightweight Seconite that has the Coverite adhesive on the back. And if you ever want to do a World War I, or for that matter, any fabric covered airplane that you want an extremely realistic looking finish for, this stuff just can't be beat. It's the easiest thing in the world to work with. It's impossible to get a bubble or a wrinkle unless you want to, and even that way you have to work at it. Let me show you how this works. We're going to open this up. And cut a piece right here to fit this rudder. No backing to peel off. Just lay that right down there. Cut a little bit oversize. Set that out of the way and iron on. Wait till you see the ease that this material works with. One shot over there. Hold it in place for a second while it cools. Stretch to the opposite. Again in place. You'll notice I'm not using a heat gun for any of this. It's really not necessary. One shot over here. And another at the base. Come around the front with it. Right along the line. You can get so sloppy with this material, and no matter what you do, it just doesn't make any mistakes. Forgives everything you or I might do to it. Okay, we'll trim that around the sides, iron it down nicely. And now get all the perimeters down flat. Now here's why you're going to like this so much. Right here we've got a little crease in it. The rest of it's still unshrunk. Simple pass with the iron. No heat gun, no nothing. Drum tight. If you're working in quarter or third scale, it's the actual proper dimension in the fabric weave. The little crease is gone, and this is ready to work with. Let's put the iron away and we'll show you the magic. Wood stain, what have we got here? Some cherry and some walnut. We'll start with the cherry because it's a little lighter. Take the cap off the stain. We're very high-tech and very scientific about this. We'll take a paper towel, dip some of this into the wood stain, and slop it on. Try and keep it out from under your fingernails. It gets pretty gritty. Pretty models, but you won't win any friends. Okay, that covers that. You get a fresh paper towel and wipe it off. Okay, that's starting to shape up pretty nice. Let's add some highlights. We'll take some of the darker stain. Just dampen a corner of it. Try around the leading edge a little bit. Down towards the base. And take a clean part and blend it all in. One more clean towel. Wipe it all. There you've got the fabric. No magic involved. Here's a stick. This is a piece of spruce. This works equally well, spruce, balsa, whatever you like. And we'll do the same thing again. We'll start with the cherry. Stain that just a little bit. And then move over to the walnut. And again, grab the other towel and blend a little bit. There you've got it. When you're satisfied with the way all this looks, all you have to do is take some urethane, either in a gloss or in a flat, and brush it on. And I find the urethane works best for this because epoxies tend to get very brittle, and the dopes and the lacquers, the same thing. Urethane stays very flexible, and because of the high flexibility of the material, you'll find that they're the most compatible with it. That's it. It's simple, it's easy, and it works every time, gives you a real authentic finish. And I think I hear my ride. Wait a minute. See you next issue. Off to the front.
In Reston, Virginia, we now continue our tour of the Academy of Model Aviation Museum with Doug Pratt and museum curator Hurst Bowers.
This is an old-time contest model, sort of a goat airplane that looked good, I think, and flew well. And this was designed by our old friend Frank Ayling back in about 1937.
Son of a gun.
And it was published in September of that year in the old Air Trails magazine. Frank goes back a long way there.
I guess he does.
Particular model was a reproduction by George Dickinson up in Pennsylvania, I believe George is from. And
he built
gave
this
us,
just for us, didn't he?
Yes, he built it. Well, he flew it, radio assist, in some of the old-time meets, and then brought it to us. It has a wonderful super cyclone engine in it, which was a real top power engine of the day. It's a fine old model. I'd like to build one like that for a little smaller engine. Then we'll move on to our friend Carl Goldberg's sailplane. This was a successor to his zipper kit that was so successful, and the sailplane was just even better. This particular model was built from the kit by Bill Roush over in Maryland.
The original Comet kit.
It was built from an original Comet kit.
I'll be darned.
He took a few liberties with it, such as putting on a two-wheel gear rather than the original retractable gear, but this was a very high-performance airplane in its day, still is.
Is this the kit?
And this is the kit.
Well, I'll be darned.
Back then, it sold for about $9. Of course, that $9 was much harder to come by than 90 now.
Boy,
But,
I guess so.
That was a lot of balsa and a lot of hours of recreation for that amount of money.
I guess so.
And we've all heard of...
This looks like a buzzard.
We've all heard of and are thoroughly familiar with old Joe Conifus's Buzzard Bombshell. And Joe restored this old airplane and brought it to us. Unfortunately, the old Trexler wheels still won't hold air. They never did
Same
very
as they
well.
always are, yeah.
But when you add 40 years to their age, why it doesn't
even
improve
better.
things. As you'll note, it has the Brown Jr. engine in it.
Sure
and
enough.
the stacks there, and it's just a wonderful old airplane. Club of a prop.
This is a restoration that Conifus did for us?
Yes, Joe Conifus, the original
Fantastic.
designer, did this for us, and he also designed a Bombshell 2, which he brought us also, and he said that the Bombshell 2, he thought probably flew maybe a little better than the 1.
Holy cow.
But the design was never pursued further. We have the prototype hanging over there, incidentally. And this is the famous powerhouse that
Tabby.
Sal Tabby designed back in roughly the same time frame, maybe even a little earlier. This has the big Foster 99 engine in it, and that propeller is a hand-carved propeller. Sal carved most of his props.
I didn't know that.
And incidentally, Sal built this replica of the powerhouse specifically for us.
Fantastic.
Which was awfully considerate of him. It's a beautiful airplane.
Fantastic. Beautiful
And
airplane.
this old job here is really a masterpiece. Now, this is the Chet Lanzo 1937 Radio Control Nationals winner.
Son of a gun.
You'll notice how he was able to enclose the very primitive radio gear of that period into this very small fuselage.
I guess so.
And it's powered with a Baby Cyclone engine. And that in itself is a collector's item right there. And you'll notice right here the homemade servo.
The double geared and the cables running to the rudder.
And it's actuated directly back to the rudder there. And it worked.
Lanzo, this is his project that he built and donated to the museum.
Yes. This is the original airplane restored by Chet.
I'll be darned. Oh, this is the original. It's not a replica.
No, this is not a replica. This is the original
marvelous.
airplane that was actually restored by Chet Lanzo, and he and his wife brought it to us
It looks
several
so
months
new.
ago. Did a
Beautiful.
magnificent job, just a beautiful job on it. We've progressed through some of the old-timers, and I don't think any collection of old-timers would be complete without Hank Struck's new ruler. As you can see, he took Goldberg's pylon and refined it, and made a few changes, little slight difference in the engine mount, etc., and came up with this very beautiful design. And we have a Olson 60 engine in this. This model was restored by Colonel Rawlins, Pete Rawlins from Catlett, Virginia. It was in the Barrera collection, and it was in pretty bad shape. So Pete had quite a bit of work in restoring this, but he did a magnificent job.
He certainly did.
And it's just right ready to go out and fly. But it is certainly a fine addition to our collection of old-time airplanes.
Beautiful.
Notice the beautiful silk work.
Yes, all brand new. Beautiful.
The day is July 17th, 1985, the site of the first World Helicopter Championships. 37 competitors from 17 countries have shown up at London, Ontario, Canada to compete for the title of World Champion. Each pilot is of the highest level of skill and a champion pilot in his respective country. The first thing you might notice at an event like this is that the equipment has become very sophisticated. So before we get started with the competition, let's get a little background from the inventor of the RC helicopter.
Okay, we're speaking with Dieter Schluter. He's known as the father of radio-controlled helicopters. He developed and flew the first helicopter in 1969. Dieter, can you tell us a little bit about that first helicopter?
Yeah, I made the first helicopter in the late 69 year, and I started in the winter time. It was very cold when I made my first flights in a hangar, an airplane hangar inside, and then I went outside. It was very windy out there, and I must say then I made my first 5 seconds and 10 seconds, then it was 30 seconds. That's, believe me, it's a very long time. And I was very happy in these days, and then I made my first radio control model with a fuselage. This was a well-known Bell Hui Cobra. And I flew this in the first months of 1970, very successful, but only in hovering in the first time. And because at first when you fly a helicopter, you have to start with hovering because this is a maneuver on the beginning of a flight and on the end of a flight. And when I could hover the model for several minutes, then I started flying forward. And this was, believe me, this was very hard because then the model was very fast, and I had no chance to bring it down first because I did not know how to do it. The model climbs and climbs and climbs and more up in the sky, and then I had to idle the engine down, and the model doesn't come back again, and then it comes too fast, and I had to put a throttle in again, and so it was for me a fight for about 5 minutes before I get the model down, safe, and nothing broken.
Did you crash a lot of helicopters in the beginning?
Oh, yeah, in the beginning, yeah. Yeah, I crashed a lot of helicopters because you cannot say in these days that it was a real helicopter. It was a beginning. These are test models because in these days we had nothing for helicopters. There were no rotor blades on the market. Nobody knows how to make rotor blades. We didn't have a ball link, something we have in these days, and nobody knows the size of the gear ratio or the size of the main rotor blades and the diameter of the main rotor system. It was absolutely nothing known, so I had to start by zero.
Why do you think you were the first? Did people not believe it could be done?
Oh, I don't know why. Maybe I had a little bit luck, but all I think it was a combination because I was a motor car engineer, and before I started making helicopters, I flew very well fixed-wing airplanes, so I know many things about flying and fixed-wing airplane and how to handle a radio control system, all these things. And then I had a little workshop with necessary machines so that I can make my parts myself. So it was a combination of an engineer and a parts maker and a flyer, and all this together.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the workings of a helicopter. We have a model of your helicopter here.
Yeah, we have a helicopter here, and just to explain how a helicopter flies. We have an engine with an automatic coupling system. If the engine speeds up, the main rotor starts turning around, and these 2 blades are working like wings on a normal airplane, and they are turning around, and so they get lift up, and then they lift up the whole helicopter. But this is only one maneuver you have to do, but then you want to fly forward. That means if the helicopter is in hovering position, then you have to bring your main rotor system, the wide main rotor blades here, in a forward flying position, and then the model flies forward. And if you make it straight, the model stops, if you do it right. If not, if you stop too much, the model goes backwards to this position, and it flies backwards. And so you can fly also sideways, to the left, to the right, or maybe 45 degrees in this way or what. So helicopter can fly in every direction, and then he can climb up and down. And then also, in addition to that, a helicopter can turn around the main rotor system, like we do here. So, and again back. Oops. So, and all this is controlled by a radio control system, and you have, in the same time, you have to control 4 different things. up and down, forward and backward, right and left, and then turning the fuselage. And this is done with a stick. This stick means forward, backward, right and left. And this means turning the fuselage left and right. And this is for climbing with the helicopter up and down. That's all.
Monday was a day of practice with competition beginning on Tuesday. Tuesday also brought high winds which blew one direction for the morning and then switched 90 degrees, leaving many pilots flying in a crosswind. This caused problems for many pilots. There are 4 compulsory maneuvers: a hovering M, a hovering circle, a horizontal 8, and landing. There are 2 landings to choose from: a 45-degree descent landing or an auto rotation. Then there are 14 optional maneuvers to choose from. Total number of maneuvers in a flight is 8. Here we see Nakajima flying the observation maneuver. The observation is a complex maneuver with a K factor of 10. The judge scores the execution of the maneuver between 0 and 10, and then the score is multiplied by the K factor. The more difficult the maneuver, the higher the K factor. This is Cliff Hyatt flying the hovering circle.
And what's your name and where are you from?
My name is Kies Verplanken from Holland.
Okay. And how long have you been flying helicopters?
I fly about 8 years helicopters. I started to build my own helicopters. Oh, I liked it very much.
Okay. And is it taken a lot of practice to prepare for this competition?
Yes, it needs a lot of practice. I started practicing beginning this year, very hard. And also last year, I did the European Championships in Holland. I had the 8th place.
8th place, very good.
Thank you.
What do you think of the maneuvers that they've selected for this contest?
They are the same for also last year and from 2 years ago also. But you can select your own maneuvers. You have 4 obligated maneuvers and 4 optional maneuvers. You can choose from 8 maneuvers totally.
Okay, what was your selection for the optional?
My selection for optional is the loop, split S, the roll, and the auto rotation.
Okay. Let's talk about
a rolling stall turn also.
A rolling stall turn, okay. Let's just talk about the loop for just a second. Maybe you can tell us what the difficulty in performing a perfect loop.
Normally you had to make a loop as in 10 meters diameter, but I prefer to make it bigger because it's much nicer for the jury. And it's difficult. You have to fly horizontal and then take it up, not too fast, and make a big circle. At the top you give a little negative pitch. And then give just a little pitch extra and then not a full pitch again, but otherwise you go up again. So then on half gas you go horizontal. At the same height you have to come out. That's very important.
The auto rotation, it's something that looks very simple, but I understand it's a little more difficult.
Yeah, it's very difficult. You had to make now an angle. It doesn't matter what angle it is. 45, depends on the wind. If you have a hard wind you can go vertical down. And you will not change the helicopter. If the helicopter is like horizontal and then you move, because you're too far, you're pulling backwards. And then you have the tilting, the head, a shaft bends backwards. And then they don't want to see that. They want a flat line all the time, tilt down. That's the difficulty. Also it's difficult, if you're flying, you have to keep an eye on the helicopter and also on the center where you have to land. So you have to be 2 eyes, one like that and one like that. That's a difficulty.
And how can you practice? It just seems like if you don't get it right.
No, you have to practice many times. That's the only thing. If you think what you have to do, it's too late already.
Taya of Japan, as well as a few other pilots, do not seem to be affected by the crosswind. Let's watch as Taya holds his helicopter against the wind in his first round of competition. Taya pulled in the highest score for the first day with this flight. He earned 1,382 points for his 8 maneuvers. By the end of the first day of competition, Taya was in first place, with Linmount of Great Britain in second place by only 17 points. Nagatsuka of Japan held third place. Here we see Linmount performing an auto rotation and receiving the first 10 from a judge at this contest. By Wednesday, the winds had diminished and pilots worked out any final bugs in their equipment. Also, the initial nervousness of flying in world competition was all but gone. Pilots began to turn in much higher scores as they worked up to their peak abilities. How do these pilots spend their time in between rounds? Flying helicopters and putting on demonstrations for the crowd. Here we see Linmount of Great Britain letting off tension after intense competition.
Okay, we're speaking with Pedro. Pedro, what is your last name?
Pedro Caldente.
Okay, and where are you from?
I come from Mallorca, the Balear Islands in Spain.
Okay. How long have you been flying helicopters?
Well, fly helicopters only 1 year ago, but it is 3 years ago that I have helicopters. But I have two. I was 2 years with my helicopters broken every time, because I am on my own for to know all this, you know.
So you virtually taught yourself how to fly?
Yes. I am started on my own to fly with many crashes.
How many people in your area fly helicopters?
Well, in our area, he fly John, the other Spanish pilot, and me. Only our two in our area. But in our country, fly around 6 people.
When you did that roll yesterday and the loop, everybody cheered. Why is that?
Well, because the day before yesterday, I make my first loop. I take 2 loops without crash, you know. And yesterday, in this World Championship, I take my first roll and my first split S, this one, because the other pilots is all the time with me and say me, you take this, you take like this, and.
So they, the day before, they actually taught you by explaining how to do it,
yes,
how to make those maneuvers.
And the day before yesterday, all the night I take in my bed all the night I take the roll, you know, like this, and no matter.
Wednesday evening, Taya was still in first place. His score for the day, 1,691 points, the highest for the competition. Ewaldheim of Germany has taken second place, and Robert Gorham of the USA has moved into third place at the close of competition on Wednesday. By the end of the competition on Friday, there was no doubt that Taya would finish in first place. And there was no question that he earned it with a final score of 4,691 points. He was flying a TSK Augusta.
Taya, you flew very well in this competition, and the wind did not seem to be a problem. Why is that?
大会、風が強かったんだけれども全然問題なく飛んでたみたいなんですけど、その辺はどうしてでしょうかと。私としてはまだ十分とは思ってないけども、もしそう見えたらとしたらローターの回転が低かったからだろう。I think due to low RPM of rotor blades.
Second place was Ewald Heim with 4,619 points, flying a Heim Star Ranger. Third place went to Atsushi Nakajima of Japan with 4,325 points, flying a Colt Long Ranger. In fourth place was Nagatsuka of Japan with 4,311 points, flying a Colt Long Ranger. Fifth place was held by Robert Gorham of the USA with 4,242 points. He flew a GMP Cobra. And sixth place went to Uli Müller of Switzerland with 4,201 points, flying a Graupner Bell 222. The top performing teams were Japan in first, USA in second, Germany in third, and Great Britain in fourth. We would like to take this opportunity to thank Walter Naus, contest director, for his determination to bring this contest to a reality and making us welcome to the first World Helicopter Championships. We would also like to thank the Model Aeronautical Association of Canada and Daniel Deneen, who's helped made it possible for us to cover this event. We now take you to the 1985 Byron Jet Rally in Ida Grove, Iowa.
A friend of mine told me once, Jerry Nelson, who people in modeling circles know very well, you know, if you're at a cocktail party or whatever, he said people talk about their golf or their bowling, their hobby, whatever, and they'll brag about it. Pretty soon somebody gets around to asking, what do you do? And he says, you know, it seems like we have an image where you are reluctant to say, well, I fly model airplanes. And he said, you know, you admit it as though you're almost embarrassed. And I'd have to tell you, Ken, that I hope that what we're doing here in Ida Grove is putting model aviation on a level way above what a lot of people in the past have thought.
participated over the weekend. And on the road now, the F-4C Tiger Shark. I'm doing all powered by a Rossi 81, spiral fan drive. Yeah, it's vehicle for the gift.
This is Byron's new 1/6 scale F-20. It has a wingspan of 56 inches and a length of 90 inches. The flying weight of this aircraft is 13 pounds. It's set up with retracts and is powered with the Byrojet Performance Package and a Rossi 81. Someone has just run this F-20 out of fuel. Now let's see how she lands with no power. This kit is due to be released in mid-January.
Hey, hi, I'm Tom Velosky, and this is Don Mudderman. He flies the number 1 Firebird. My son, Tom Velosky, he flies the number 2 Firebird. And Johnny Davis, he flies the number 3 Firebird. All the equipment here you see is jet hanger hobbies. It's built from the 5-way Mirage kit, and we chose to build it as the Kafir C2, mainly for its tight turnability, so we can keep our show really nice and tight for the audience. Everything you see here is right out of the box. We fly Turbax 3s, OS65 engines, spring air retracts, Mattoon pipes. The Turbax 3 fan units with the OS65s have proven to be more than enough power, which gives us the ability to do a full roll on takeoff, which up until recently we don't know of anybody else that's done it.
My name is Bob Fiorenzi. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and the airplane I'm flying today is an A4E Skyhawk. It's a Bob Violet kit. It's powered by Tom Cook Dynamax fan unit. Has a Rossi 65 racing engine, tune pipe. Weighs approximately 10.5 pounds right now. Drop tanks, Rome retracts. has a fast cowl finish. Over the fast cowl is acrylic lacquer. And today we were clocked at 151 miles an hour. And I'm very pleased with the performance.
These are the scale masters he built.
Another new jet from Byron Originals is this 1/7 scale F-15. It has a wingspan of 70 inches and a length of 8 feet 9 inches. It's powered with 2 Biro jet fans and 2 Rossi 81s. Flying weight on this aircraft is 26 pounds. There will be provisions on the F-15 for speed brakes.
Standing right in the middle of this 1/5 scale creation, maybe you could tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it started last year. The development you see here, it involves a 1/5 scale train, tanker cars, 1/5 scale refinery, Lufkin pumps running over here in the hills, depot with storage facilities. And the battle is involved around a goodly part of this. As you can see, materials here, these cannons on the ground here, not cannons, mortars, some of them carry half a gallon of gasoline and a considerable amount of powder. And the refinery over there, the stairways that you see on there, some of those have a couple of quarts of gasoline and black powder, incendiary materials. And this is, of course, wired from our panel across the field. And when the bombs are hit and rocket attacks are launched against these facilities, why, we coordinate the shot with the attack. And we have underwater bombs here. It gives you the geyser effect of a bomb, torpedo in the water, and have a number of those. And of course, here you see this 1/5 scale fireboat. Has operating water cannons on it that will try to assist in getting out the fires that will develop over here in this area. See all the wiring on there? Yeah. This boat takes about 6 hits direct, and you'll see those. You see the lines running into the sides of it here. It's built of steel, it's heavy steel, and there's a lot of powder and incendiary and gasoline materials in there that give it that realistic look, like it's really been hit. The locomotive over there, I saw a film from a gun camera it's taken off of a C-40, or correction, a P-47 that was in Italy, and the man was going down, the pilot was going down a railroad track, and he opened up all 8 50 caliber machine guns on a locomotive. And of course, when those 50 caliber machine guns ruptured the boiler on that locomotive, the steam spewed out of that thing. That really touched my funny bone. I thought, we got to do that here. So we built this locomotive, and that tank on that locomotive is pressurized from a 1,000-gallon tank with about 100-pound, 150 pounds air to it. And we set off smoke bombs in this boiler. And when the machine gun attack is launched against this locomotive, why, you'll see the white smoke, which looks just exactly like steam spewing out of that boiler. And the whole thing is based to look as realistic as possible.
We hope you have enjoyed this program, and we look forward to bringing you a variety of coverage on the fascinating and expanding hobby of RC. Here are just a few of the articles in the next issue of RC Video Magazine. We have coverage of the biggest Scale Master program yet, with contestants from all over the world. Also, we will have coverage of soaring at the Nats. Could this be a new trend in high-tech gliders? And how about an airborne video camera with pictures transmitted to a ground receiver? This plane is flown from inside the van, and as always, lots of great models and modelers. So get your subscription in. 1986 is going to be a great year for RC modeling.
One thing that you'll find is pick a spot, do your shooting, and then punch it off. Walk over and then start again, because as you're walking, it gets real jerky.
Oh, okay.
And the other way to follow it is to make sure you have both eyes open.
Huh. Wonder if I could see better without my glasses on.
No, but if you have both eyes open, you'll see a little airplane, and then you'll see the one in the viewfinder, so you get both.
What's the green mean?
What green?
The green line on.
It means it's running. Punch it and it won't be running.
You want me to turn it off now, Ed? Yeah.
Notice that rudder kicking the water on takeoff?
Yeah. Nice. Give us some commentary.
I just got scared myself. I got full throttle and it's not taking me.
Oh, you're behind the trees. I'm never gonna catch you.
That's full throttle and this stuff.
Huh.
Not doing it. Okay, I'm gonna land, see if I can adjust the throttle.
Okay. Nice one.
Nothing wrong with the idle. I guess it's just sensitive. Oh, thanks. Jump that baby off the water. Full throttle. Responds nicely to ailerons. It just snaps around so smooth.
Yeah. Is that full throttle?
Yep. Full throttle. upside down there. A little crude. Just not running.
Maybe he doesn't like the cold weather.
It isn't cold, that's the problem.
Yeah. Sun isn't out though.
Lots of elevators going. Okay. How about a nice fast climb? I mean slope.
What was that?
That was a lump sort of.
Look good from here.
You get pulled down and pull one side, and it's supposed to do crazy things. The trick is it does crazy things. You got to figure out what you got to do to get it out of it.
Yeah. Wow.
There was one thing I didn't do. I didn't try to pull it through. I think I'd have bored a hole in the water. Okay, how about just some landings?
Nice job.
That was a little close.
I'll give you a spin.
Yeah, do a spin.
Alright. And then try it again.
I think you let off on the throttle a little.
I did. I did. It's just a spiral. I got it to spin. Try it again. Would you like me to tell you why it won't spin?
Yeah.
I got a full tank of gas and the CG's too far forward.
Oh.
Try it again.
Oh, that was pretty good.
What was it?
You're the pilot. You tell us.
I don't know what it was.
Oh, nice.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
If you see a big puff of yellow pepper, you'll know that I just overstressed it. You have to fly full rudder, and I wasn't doing it. Here we go again, another spin with full rudder.
You're not letting off on the throttle either. I think that helps.
The rudder makes a massive difference. I'm going to give it full rudder without aileron, see what happens. Nothing.
Kind of quiet. Come on, 3 good bounces. 2, 3, oh, that was nice. Got to get a picture of Ed's aircraft carrier.
Emergency retrieval system.
Roger, did I get your autograph yet?
Nice quiet four-stroker. I mean two-stroker. Right. Looks like fifth little nose low too. He must have put weight in it right side. One way or another, it's going to come down. There he comes again. He was going in. They're both down now, right? Oh, is this one? Yeah, but he just kept saying it's staying in the water, yeah. Once you get a little speed, you get up a little bit. Unless the wind blows it on body, yeah, float or easement there. Yeah. You have to have the arm out of the down. No, I think I'm going to I don't know. I don't think so. The tip floats didn't retract on the full one, did they?
No.
Sure. Yes, sir. Speed up. Comes down. There you go. You're all right. You're all right.
getting in the airport.
And getting me down to it too.
Well, you want to do it all the time. Because even the return is going to assist you in coming around.
It's all set up for it. I just haven't put it on.
It really helps you.
It really does. This thing will windmill even after if the engine dies at high throttle. It'll windmill and you pull it back idle and it'll catch again. Yeah. That's because there's no compression.
Okay, you get the long four-lane.
Okay, another 360s there.
How about 3 feet?
That's good. I don't care. What do you think you need?
I don't know. This is a different contest than last. We got the landing.
Oh.
airplane, this has got a very powerful water rudder. It helps that tip what goes in. Then you're going to pivot around that. On wheels. Yeah. I don't know about. One thing you do want to do though, unless you really enjoy flying coordinated control mode, rudder now. We're going to build some scale planes. Now I have to fly rudder later on. Oh, Edo type? Float. Edo type. Real close, Edo type coach with all the rays and all that. And he's doing all that. That's why he's fucking down about a foot off the ground.
thing on it. All the little fittings for strut attachments. Yeah. Got,
Servos?
What's that?
Yes, one. I don't know what kind of service you got in.
S28s in the wings and for the throttle, and Kraft Maxi Titans for the elevator and aileron. Elevator and rudder. Oh. Just don't put it in now.
Oh, no.
Watch that wing. Notice how comfortable he is flying somebody else's airplane that low?
Yeah.
He hath no fear who flies other people's airplanes.
That's right.
I always
Not much pressure that way.
I figured they built it better than I built my own for down. We're down.
Well, Jim, you might want to think about coming down. Oh, I'm having fun. Well, I know we kind of put a 4-minute cutoff on it. Yeah, we're supposed to go 2, and you're getting up there. No, you're making the first one, so what the hell? Yeah. See that, Bob? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that right? A little rich then, huh? Or a little lean? A little lean or a little rich?
I think it's a little lean. Yeah, it sounds certainly not rich.
Right.
I didn't want 12 ounces of fuel up front, leaving down to 1 or 2. You ought to do it by course the S38.
Hi, David.
Aim at something and watch it. Go to telephoto.
There's a green light on in here.
You've got it on. You punched it.
I got you on film. Oh, yeah. Windy? Hello, Tom. How's it going? This is first flight. Got a little bit of trim problem, I think. Must be. I don't see that flag moving at all. Got some power? Yeah, you might need to desense it a little bit. Where's it at? A floater.
Oh, I forgot to tell you I was going to land.
Oh, I had you, no problem. Hey, Tom, can you grab that? Whatever. Well, how you like it, Ed?
I don't think it flies any better than the other one. It's kind of dark.
But it's big and comfortable. Oh, that's nice. Sits down nice.
I think I'm going to quit rock. Where's your airplane, Tom?
You sure there's winds aloft?
I'm getting ready to shut it down. It's coming right now. Well, hey, it flies. It's a handsome devil.